What they did gain was the extra spell called Power of Darkness. No matter which lore you take, you get this Power of Darkness spell. It gets cast on a 4. Basically, it allows you to, if you get the spell off, you generate D3 plus 1 power dice. So you can actually, it'll pay for itself if you roll 2. You can make out really well if you roll 1. You know, of course, if you miscast, that sucks. But, you know, you can get up to 4 power dice. The downside is if you don't use any of those power dice that were created with the Power of Darkness spell, you take a strength 4 hit. So that could theoretically kill her. You know, depending on how many, because, you know, she's a toughness 3 elf. Unless you give her a ward save, she could die pretty easy. Let's go over their spells. Chill Wind they had before. Doom Bolt they had before. Word of Pain they had before. Blade Wind is a new spell. Soul Stealer is an old spell. Black Horror is an old spell. So, one thing to note, that when casting a spell, unlike other magic users in the game, these guys don't have the limit. If you watch my other videos, you'll know what I'm talking about, but the limit is, if you're like a level 2, you can only roll 3 dice. These guys, or gals, sorceresses, dark elves, there's no limit. They can roll as many dice for any spell, any magic user. So that makes these guys, they sort of break the rules, but that makes actually a level 2 can actually get a spell off instead of being, you know, limited to 3 dice. Granted, as you know, the more dice you roll, yeah, the better chance of getting Irresistible Force, but also better chance you get of rolling a miscast. Alright, Chill Wind basically goes off, it's your typical 24-inch D6 strength 4 magic missile. The one cool thing about it is if they take a wound, that unit cannot shoot next turn. Doom Bolt, it's okay. I mean, it's 18-inch D6 strength 5 magic missile, a little bit shorter range, 1 more strength. Word of Pain is pretty cool with a range of 24, can be cast into close combat. Basically, their weapon skill and ballistic skill are reduced to 1. That can be really handy. So that's a pretty cool spell. This spell, Blade Wind, is their number 4 spell. I was able to get that off on the dwarfs last night. Unfortunately, it didn't do much, but it does. Basically, you roll 3d6, and that unit takes a weapon skill 4, strength 4 attack. Doesn't sound that impressive, but you may allocate 1 attack against any character and 1 attack against any unit champion. So that's a good way to sort of assassinate a unit champion and wound that wizard that's hiding in a unit. So not bad. Soul Stealer, basically it's a short range spell. It's strength 2. Yeah, if they, I don't think there's an armor save. Yeah, there's no armor save, but it's strength 2. And for every wound you inflict, you gain a wound up to her double. So a hero level can go to 4 wounds, and a lower level magic user can go to 6 wounds. Black Horror is sort of an anomaly in this game. Not many spells in the game use a template. Well, this uses the large blast or ordnance template for you guys that play 40k. You basically have to take a strength test or suffer a wound, no armor save. It's got sort of a high casting value, which you would expect because it's a number 6 level spell. But, you know, that's their spells in a nutshell. What makes them good, as I mentioned before, they can take Fire, Shadow, Metal, and Death. So they have some options, and don't know if their magic improved or got a little bit worse in this edition. I think it got a little bit better. But the last thing we're going to talk about is magic items. Okay, one thing I like about the Dark Elves compared to the Wood Elves and High Elves is their fighty characters, in my opinion, so you guys don't get all upset and post nasty grams and get your panties in a wad, but they basically can be kitted out to fight better. I mean, you know, toe-to-toe fighting, not sit back and shoot you with a bow kind of fighting, than the other 2 elves. And the Executioner Axe, I'm not going to go through all of them, but they have, you know, they have a couple of things that can do, like Strength 8, Strength 10, multi-wounds. They got a weapon that'll give you extra attacks. They've got a lance that's +3, stuff with Killing Blow, a magic bow, so they don't have any shortage of weapons that are pretty good. They're all pretty good. Nothing's just super outstanding. Well, there's 1 or 2 that are really, really good, but you have to be on foot for that. Next thing we're going to talk about is the enchanted items. One of the things that gets a lot of use is the Potion of Strength. It's one use, but it gives you +3 strength. Man, you're talking about an elf with 7 strength. That's pretty darn impressive. So enchanted, there's something that also can give you cause terror. There's a crystal that can possibly cause them to randomly forget a spell. So their enchanted items are okay, probably not as good as the high elves, but they're not bad. They definitely have better magic armor. Out of the 1, 2, 3, 6 listed, probably 3 or 4 of these are worth having. One of them gives them regenerate, one of them gives them an extra toughness and wound. There's a magic shield. There's your typical armor that gives you that character a 1+ or a 2+ armor save. So they have no shortage in magic armor. That's excellent. Of course, the wood elves had no magic armor almost, and that was really worth it. It was all light armor. But these guys have some good stuff. Now we're going to move on to talismans. Talismans. There's a couple in here. You guys have seen it on the internet. We're going to talk about the Pendant of Caleth. I hope I said that right. That's the reverse ward save. That is, I think, probably the single most magic item that gives people heartburn in the game. If you don't know how that works, go to the websites and forums and check it out. You'll find out real quick. The next is probably Ring of Hotep. That gives people a lot of heartburn, especially those that have a lot of magic. And there's some other things like the Seal of Grond, some ward saves. I mean, their talismans, pretty much everything in there is pretty darn good. Their arcane items are not as good as the high elves, but they're adequate. The Focus Familiar, I used that against my game with the the dwarves last night. I was able to put my magic user in the woods and actually cast spells. Basically, this lets you put a token or a quote-unquote focus familiar 6 inches away, and you basically cast spells through it. So that's sort of cool. And the next thing, the Sacrificial Dagger, you guys have probably read about that. Basically, you can kill off one of the guys in your unit, gives you a free casting dice. You only kill one guy per spell attempt, which is good, where you could really see some serious abuse. And then we're going to go on to the magic standards. There's 6, 7, 8 of these things. Most of them, you know, there's 2 of them that have to be carried by a battle standard bearer. One of them gives +1 attack. That's pretty good. Cause fear, plus D3 to combat resolution. Gives always strikes first. Gives a unit frenzy. That's what the Corsairs can use. But anyways, the Dark Elf magic items are, you know, they're pretty good. They're, you know, I think the High Elves in certain categories is better, but the Dark Elves I think is probably a little bit better overall. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I look forward to playing this army a little bit more. I plan on picking up Malekith, where I can get a dragon. I'm too cheap to get a High Elf dragon, which I think looks better, and then buy the Dreadlord riding a cold one, you know, to put on there. So I'm just buy Malekith and go that route. But as far as adding to this, I need a few more Harpies, a few more Shades, and that's pretty much it. A dragon, and we'll see. As I start doing some battle reports, I plan on posting them for fantasy. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. Take care, and thanks for watching.